When it comes to anything in any aspect of our lives, when we know what we're doing, we can then synchronize our lives on that goal of that task. One of the responsibilities that we have as believers, and is perhaps one of the most important responsibilities of a believer, is to have ma'rifah, to know the Imam of our time. It's very logical that had we lived at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, or the time of the other Imams alayhim salam, that we would have sought to know who they are. Maybe having the opportunity to meet them, to visit them, to sit with them, to talk, to discuss things with them, to know who they are. But we would want to know more about that individual so that we could be even better devotees and followers of the teachings. Obviously, we live in an era in which our Imam al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajuhu sharif, may Allah hasten his return, is in an occultation in the ghaibah. However, our responsibility is still to know the Imam of our time. In fact, this responsibility is so important that the father of our 12th Imam, that is Imam Hassan ibn Ali al-Askari alayhim salatu wassalam, has been quoted as saying in a hadith that one who dies and does not know the Imam of the time, does not have a ma'rifah, a deep understanding of the Imam of his time, that person dies the death of jahiliyyah, of ignorance. Now, when it comes to anything in any aspect of our lives, when we know what we're doing, we can then synchronize our lives on that goal of that task. Those who like to play a particular sport, or even who just like to sit and watch a particular sport being played. If you were to just turn on the television or to show up at a game and you didn't know the rules of the game, you didn't know the purpose of the game, you didn't know what the players had to do, and you're merely sitting watching, it would have very little, if any, meaning to your impact. You wouldn't be able to resonate with it. You just see people walking or running back and forth doing something, and you would have no idea what is going on. But when you know the rules, you begin to become invested in that game. You love to watch the action. You're driven by what is going on in the arena. And that sporting event will then be more meaningful to you. Now, if we reflect on the life that we have in this world and our responsibilities to our Creator, to Allah, as believers that we have taken on this weighty responsibility of following the Quran, of loving and following the Ahlul Bayt, may Allah's blessings be upon all of them, when we know that purpose of life, when we know the personalities who are guiding us on that path of the purpose of life to fulfill it, then life will have more meaning. We'll understand when we go through the ups and downs of life of why these things are happening. We'll be able to accept what is going on, even if we may not fully understand and be able to make the fullest sense of what is going on around us, but we will accept because we know that this is the purpose of life. So how does that resonate with active intidhaar? When we know, first of all, the Imam of our time whom we are obligated to follow. When we recognize this individual, Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajuhu sharif, and when we're able to have a deeper understanding and a depth of clarity of why he has been given the responsibilities that he has, when we begin to recognize the individual who is the 12th Imam by knowing the certain names and titles and qualities that he is known by, we're then going to be in a better position to connect to him at a personal level. Not just as an Imam in occultation, but we will develop a very strong symbiosis, a very personal, deep connection to the Imam of the time. And that will allow you and I to imbibe his titles and qualities in our lives. This will in turn put us in complete synchronization with the 12th Imam, with the prayer in mind that, Ya Allah, if I am to live until the advent of the 12th Imam, allow my synchronization with him that I had now continue to resonate when his return is established, and so that I can be in line with him during his advent, just as I was in line with him during his ghaibah. And so the challenge, brothers and sisters, the lovers of the 12th Imam, those who are in an active state of awaiting the return of Imam al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. The challenge, should you wish to take it on, is simple. Get to know Imam al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, deeper through his titles. And these will be given over the next week for those who want to take part in this very unique challenge to know and learn and understand and then live the qualities of the 12th Imam. Take some time to think and reflect on how I can personally connect to the Imam of our time through his titles. How can we imbibe and embody the attributes of the Imam in our life? You know, this becomes a very beautiful way to connect to the Imam, because when we're actively awaiting him and when we know him through his character, not his characteristics, keep in mind, but his character, then we'll actually be able to mold our lives to fit with his character. And we have to differentiate, brothers and sisters, between characteristics of the Imam and character of the Imam. The characteristics, what color is his hair? How long is his hair? Irrelevant. How long is his beard? Irrelevant. What color clothing does he wear? What style of clothing does he wear? Irrelevant. What does he eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? So I can follow him. Irrelevant. But what is relevant is to know the character of the Imam. And when we learn those titles, when we learn those names, those qualities of Imam al-Hujjah, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, we will begin to live our lives in light or in the shadow of what he will do when he makes his return. I pray to God that he gives us all the ability, myself included, to learn some of these titles of our Imam and to live, to understand them and to live them in our lives.